Hey, welcome to Keight's Crafts. I'm Keight. Today I would like to share with you this sweet little birthday card that I made that is also a surprise shaker. Let's get started. Starting off, I am stamping out one of the cats from Meow You Doing and the cats from the Simply Celebrate Critters stamp set. And I'm using some ink on 3 blackout ink on some Bristol Smooth cardstock because I will be doing some Copic coloring. And as always, if you are not interested in the coloring bit, I will try to make sure to leave the timestamp in the description box below if you would like to skip over the coloring. Blah. Sorry, words are hard sometimes. Anyway, that E17 was a tad bit dry, so I'm trying to blend that out with the E13 and then blend that out again with the E11. I always try to go darkest to lightest when I'm coloring, and this particular cat is going to be somewhat of a calico cat. I mean, I probably could have gone darker with the cool grays, but I didn't want to do too dark, and I didn't want to lose the detail of the stamp itself. And the recipient, yes, the person who's getting the card. She is a cat person and likes to take care of all the neighborhood cats, which I think it's quite sweet. And I've got to meet quite a few of the neighborhood cats that she takes care of, and I've witnessed them patrolling around the area and coming onto my front porch and kind of making sure all is well. And they're pretty nice to have around. I love watching cats. Myself, I'm a cat person. We had a cat for a long time, and he passed away last September, and it was super sad, and we just haven't brought in ourselves to get another one. And it was quite hard losing the one that we had. And people keep offering to drop them off at my doorstep, but we're not ready yet, so I live vicariously through my stamps and all the cats that I have in stamps. So anyway, enough of that. So I'm just going back and forth here, figuring out which cats I want to be which color, and this one right here is the female that kind of roams around our neighborhood. She's black and white. I can't quite remember her pattern, but I wanted to kind of base that one off of her, and each one's kind of one of the ones that used to be around our neighborhood, so I think she'll appreciate it. So again, just going back and forth, trying to blend that out. I'm using the gray as a black because I didn't want to lose any of the detail on this one. And now I'm going to go in with some of this E93 to try and go into with the cheeks, but I'm finding that the darker colors and the orange, it's quite it's not quite getting there. So I'm trying in with some of that colorless blender to see if I could lighten up the little areas, and then I try the R20, I think it is, yeah, and try to go in, and I just can't quite master the cheeks, so I ended up just kind of leaving it. And some of them have cheeks, some of them don't. It's not really that noticeable, but they are still cute as heck. So with the little speech bubbles, I am going around with an N0 just to kind of give it a little bit more detail. Next up, I've cut a card base at 7.5 and 3 3/4 and scored at 3 3/4. And here I have an outside-in stitched circle, and that one is from the Shutter card die set. That I don't have the outside-in stitched circles yet. I did recently order them after making this card, and figured, yeah, I really like the outside-in stitched rectangle dies quite a bit, so I thought I'd get those as well. And you can see the screen kind of jiggling here. I've had this piece of acetate from a previous project that I didn't get to use because, you know that saying, measure twice and cut once? Yeah, I didn't measure twice. So all I'm doing is taking the acetate and I'm going to stick it to the outside of the base of the card. The card base. Yes. The base of the card base, base of the card, the card base. So that way you'll get the window on the inside. So you can see right there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that single cat and just kind of have her hanging out in the window there. because sometimes you can see the cats in their windows, and they're just so cute, all fluffy and cuddly, and just, oh, meow, you know. I don't know if you're a cat person. Are you a cat person, or are you a dog person? Are you a bird person, or do you prefer snakes and spiders and all that creepy stuff? Let me know in the comments what favorite animal is yours. I particularly like cats. When I was a kid, I had a cockatiel, and I've had dogs. I had a Yorkshire Terrier at one point, and I also had a Springer Spaniel later on when I was a teenager. But I think if I were to get another dog, I'd probably save up for the Yorkie because they are so cute. Anyway, all I've done is I've gone around the outside of the card, well, the edge of the card with some foam tape, and now I'm creating my actual well around the little porthole that I've made, because I want the shaker bits to be kind of centralized behind this window. And to kind of even things out, I've cut little triangles to stick in the corners just to double safeguard, you know, that none of the elements fall out, because I'll be using a little bit of glitter, but it's not glitter. I don't know, it looks like little sprinkles, but they're not sprinkles. I don't know how to explain them. They look glittery, but I don't know. You'll see later. So once I've got that down pack, I'm going to measure the glitter paper that I have, and I'm going to cut that down to size, which is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. And I'm thinking maybe I'll put it behind the pink, but then I think, well, I want the pink backside of this double-sided paper to show through, so I'm going to take my measuring, or my T-square ruler to measure things, just to make sure that I've got, you know, enough room here, as I'm going to cut out the center and use the center of it for a different project. So I think, well, I could use my little X-Acto knife, but then I think, well, I've got like umpteen million paper trimmers. I'm sure one of them can do the job, and I don't have to try and do it old school with a little X-Acto knife and risk screwing it all up. So this is where I think, well, maybe I'll do that, and then it's kind of like, no, I will use the tools that I bought to do this and not make it twice as hard for myself. So as far as paper trimmers go, I think each of them has their own special quality. Like this was I think this was my second one that I got. I actually got this for Christmas from my little sister, and I love it. It doesn't have a scoreboard like the other one that I have similar to this. The other one's a memory keeper. And then recently I picked up a guillotine trimmer, which it totally changed everything up. So maybe I'll do a review on the different paper trimmers that I have one of these days. Wouldn't that be fun? But, you know, if you're interested, I don't know. Some people think they'd rather watch paint dry than me talk about paper trimmers. Do you have that problem too? I know my mom tells me that's crazy all the time. Anyway, all I'm doing here is I am putting some score tape on the back side of the little frame that I made out of the glitter cardstock. I believe that's the Recollections brand that I have. I can't remember the name of it. It's kind of pinky, not quite champagne, but I don't know. It's pretty. I've had it for a while, and I'm reluctant to use the pretty paper, so I try to use it sparingly, which, when you think about it, your art supplies are, you buy them. You buy them to use them, but then you don't use them. But really, when you buy them for the experience. And when you don't use them, you don't get the experience out of them, so try and use them. If you're reluctant, you know what? Just buy more. If there's no more left, well, you've experienced something that you probably will never experience again. Anyway, I'm sorry to be such a negative Nancy here, but what I'm going to do next is I am going to take some of this low tack tape and I am going to stick everything down, because I am going to make a mess if I don't. So what I try to do is I try to put, well, since this is an inside shaker, I try to make sure that my card base is secure to my table, and that way I don't send things flying. So I've got some little iridescent sequins here. I think I got them from a Spellbinders kit of the month a while ago. And these yellow pinkish hearts that are kind of transparent, I think, yeah, they're High Supply, or HAI, which I like some of their stuff. It's really pretty. And these are the Recollection micro beads that I have. And this right here, this is that glitter stuff that I told you about. You can't really see it on screen, but they're like little shredded pieces. So I have a bunch of those, and I thought, well, you know what, I'll use them, why not? So once I'm done pulling off all the release tape to this, I'm very careful. It took me a long time not to like knock everything over. I'm going to add a bunch of glue to this, and I'm going to stick everything down. So once I'm done with that, and everybody's happy, I will flip this over. It's actually standing up and holding it by the corners helps me out a lot. So once I'm happy with that, I will mash all that down, and you'll get to see here in a second the surprise shaker. Quite proud of myself with this one. I thought it was really cute. So there you go. There's the inside of the card. And because I used that outside in stitched circle die, you got the little stitch detail around the edge. So what I'm going to do with these guys is I'm going to cut out the shape of the stamp without stamping it, and then I'm going to measure it off on my card base, because that glitter cardstock sits a little bit higher than the pattern paper that I used. And I think the pattern paper I used was called Bow Bunny. I don't know. I'll leave all the items that I used in this video in the description box below in case you need to hunt them down. But I think I got this Bow Bunny pattern paper from the Dollar Tree a while back. So I think I remember seeing something like copyright 2011. So it's probably fairly old, but I don't know. I kind of like the hexagon pattern to it. It's like pink 60s or 70s sci-fi or something like that to me. So anyway, once I've added some glue to those little bits that I cut down to size, I'm going to glue them to the back sides of my images so that way they don't get any sag in the middle when I adhere them to the card front. So once I'm happy with all those, I'll give that a quick mash, and then I'll add some glue to the back sides of these and just glue them down. So you get the idea here. Oh, I'm going to add a little bit of that adhesive tape, the Easy Runners by Scrapbook, I think it is. Or Scrapbook Easy Runner? I don't know. Anyway, adding some more Tombow Mono glue to the back side of that, just to make sure that they're nice and sticky for the card. Yes, nice and sticky for the card. I'm having a hard time with words tonight. Please forgive me. I'd trip over my feet right now if I was walking, but walking and talking aren't necessarily my strong suit right now. So once I'm happy with the placement, I'm going to go in with a little gel pen. This is a Sakura white jelly roll pen, and I believe it is in the 0.8. And because some of these critters are so light, it doesn't really show up that much, so I don't add too many little details to it. Just a few dots and dashes as I go around some of the cats. So nothing too substantial. But I thought it was a little cute to put little 3 dots around where their whiskers would come out. So, oh, and this one right here, this is the Sakura Stardust pen. I think you can get them in a 2-pack, and it's the same pen. But I'm just adding a little bit of shimmer to their nose and around these speech bubbles, which are really cute. Off camera, I went ahead and stamped out Happy Birthday. And now I'm taking some jellyfish ink, and I'm just going around the one side of the card just to add a little bit of detail. And I'm kind of making it look like a little kitten kind of walked all over the inside of the card. And this isn't going to be too dark of an ink, it'll just be subtle. So, and there's the finished card. I didn't add any extra embellishments because I thought it was cute as is. I had enough embellishments on the inside. So, there's my card. Thank you for watching. I had a lot of fun making this, and I'll probably make some more just like it, just because they're tiny and cute. So I really hope my neighbor likes her Happy Birthday card. So if you've enjoyed today's content, or found it helpful, please give this video a like. I also welcome you to subscribe, as I post weekly. Here's another video I think you might enjoy. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Take care.